you guys want to pull up the group chat, Linda has included the Concur Solutions login link. If you go to this link, you can log in using your WSU email, and then the temporary password that has been set up for you is also noted in the comments here. But that is a capital T EMP 1234 with an exclamation point. If you guys have any issues logging in or your password isn't being accepted, you can state that you have forgot your password, or I do have Sheree and Paula here with me today, Sheree and Paula, and they can also reset your password and shoot you a quick temporary password to get you logged in. So the first thing we need everyone to do is go to that concursolutions.com and go ahead and log into the system. Also, for this presentation, I will be sharing my computer screen. Most people have asked, do I need to be watching Zoom, or can I just go on the Concur site? We're going to be walking through the Concur website, so if you are on a device that only has one screen, you can go ahead and get over to Concur and just stay on that web page until we start going here as a group. And then just because I think we had one other person join, we will send that Concur link and the temporary password one more time. And then we'll get started. And then for those who did just join, your username is going to be your WSU email, and then I am also sending the password so that you guys can get logged in. If you go to that link and type in the password, we can get started. And once again, if you're having any issues logging in, please let us know. We can reset your password, or you can hit I forgot my password on the Concur website, and it will shoot you an email and you can go through those steps and get logged in. So I will give you guys just a minute, but if you could each let me know once you're in, or if you are unable to, that will let us know if we can keep on going. So Elizabeth Taylor, I see in Zoom that we're going to go ahead and reset your password. We'll send you the new password. So Elizabeth, were you provided a WSU email as well? Because that is what we were required to use when we set you up. So
Christina Taylor.
Nope.
Elizabeth Taylor. Mary Taylor, Marie Taylor, Julie Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor.
okay. In the chat, can you ask her for the WSU, and then you guys can set her up with her channel? Just like, so go back to Zoom. Sorry, we're just making sure that they're all set up. Back to Zoom. And then in the chat. Back to Zoom. Okay, so Elizabeth will go ahead and the girls are working on getting you into the system. And then we will keep on moving forward. So it seems that you're the only one who wasn't able to log in. And I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and then we will walk through Concur together. Okay, so this is kind of what everyone should be looking at right now, or the main page if you're already logged in. And there's a few things that we're, oh, sorry. Now it's sharing there. So this is that main page once you log in. So today I'm going to be operating under Paula's Concur, but it is going to say hello, and then your name should be noted here. Just one more note for Elizabeth, if you're still unable to log in, go ahead and follow along with this presentation and the screen I'm sharing. This is a very intuitive system that if you can't actually like physically follow along and input your information at this time, if you walk through this presentation with us, you should be able to do it very easily on your own once we get you set up. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. As you guys may know, Concur is an online booking tool that allows you to book airfare, hotel, and rental car all in one place. It's kind of our one-stop shop. There's a few really awesome features about Concur and that we're excited to share with you guys. But in order to get into it and to start booking, the first thing that we need to do is set up your profile. So that's going to be the main purpose of this meeting. And then after that point, we'll kind of go over just a few other things in Concur. So right now, in the upper right-hand corner, you have a profile.
We're not trying to very soon.
It closed down.
Okay, sorry guys, just one moment. It looks like this,
Okay.
this computer closed out of their Zoom meeting, so I'm just gonna pull it back up for them. Not in the two, I believe, in that corner. Okay, so continuing on. You're going to go into profile up in the right-hand corner and then hit on profile settings. This will then bring you to profile options. We're going to go into your personal information today. So go ahead and click on personal information. The top of your page should show my profile, personal information. So we're going to go through this entire page in full. Just note that after each section, it gives you the option to save. If you try saving after each section, it is going to bring up an error letting you know that there are some required fields that still have to be filled out. So my best advice is do not save until we reach the end of this page. Then you won't receive any of those error notifications, and you should be completely ready to move forward. So this first section here, you can't change your first or last name or the middle name if it's been input, but let's say your middle name is left blank here. If you have a middle name on your your ID or your driver's license, you'll need to input that here because your ID has to match when you're flying. So you can either identify that here, or let's say you don't have a legal middle name, then you can just click this box right below that says no middle name. This company information you shouldn't be able to input in, and this is actually not a section that you need to worry about at this time. So you can go ahead and move forward. Actually, you don't need to worry about it at all. Sorry, that may have been misleading. The next section that we're going to be actually working on and inputting into is going to be this work address. So this is going to be your work address. So where you're housed here or in Spokane or in the counties. If you hit this main location here for your assigned location, because that's where this system has us is at Pullman. Even if you're not in Pullman, you can still go ahead and fill in the rest of this. But do not select address same as assigned location, because then it's going to default your city and state and the address to something that is not actually your work address. So leave that box blank. Go ahead and input your address for this and for where you work, and then we will move forward. Are there any questions at this time? Got a quiet group today. All right, Looks like we're good. So just moving down, like I said, this is a really intuitive and easy system at this point. You're going to go ahead and input your home mailing address. Go ahead and pop that in. Once again, don't save at this time because you will get error messages. And then going on down, we're going to get started in the contact information. This is where you're going to input your work number and a home phone number. And you can fill out all of the sections here if you have, you know, that many that you'd like to include, or pager or mobile phone, you know. But as long as you're making sure that you are filling out the required fields, that is going to be the most important part of this right now. And let's say you need to come in and update this information. You can do that at any time by actually coming in, following the same steps that we followed to get in here, by going into profile, my profile, and then profile settings. So we'll go ahead and keep on moving down. For your email address, you have already defaulted to your WSU email. That is what runs and drives the system. And so that is what is your primary email, but you can add another email address. We had a few questions yesterday. If you have a county email that you use, you could put that in here and hit that you want to be notified. If you have a personal email you use and you kind of just want a safety net in the system, you could put in that personal email and then click no for the contact, but you know that it's saved in there. So if for some reason anything ever happens with your WSU email, like it's temporarily hacked or something goes down, you could come in here and say yes on your personal, and then you would also receive that information in both routes. So just something to keep in mind. Just having the one WSU email is sufficient, but we have had many individuals who wanted more, and so just know that that is an option. And so here we have an emergency contact. This is going to be important that you fill out, because while traveling, we want to make sure that this information is available if needed. You know, God forbid there be an emergency, but for some bookings, this is required, especially with international travel. So I would just highly suggest that each of you guys go ahead and fill out this section. And you can, there is an other if they don't fall under, you know, family or partner. And then you can just put in the street. If it's the same, there is this box right here that you can say same address. And then a phone and an alternative phone. So I'm just going to give you guys a few more seconds on that section. A lot of this inputs very easily for me because it's already auto input, and so it kind of just goes in there, which is nice if you ever need to change anything, but hopefully that won't be the case. So this next section that we're gonna be going into is the travel preferences. And this is a really awesome part of Concur and one of our, one of my personal favorites. But you can put in if you're an AAA member, an AARP, military, government, any of those, and you'll get those travel preferences as well as be able to benefit off the discounts and deductions for that. If you're not any of these, you can mark that you are a government employee, because as a state employee, that will fall in there. For these seat preferences, you can go ahead, if you do have a preference, go ahead and select it. We had a lot of questions yesterday about additional costs and stuff like that. Our WSU policies are already built into this Concur system. So you can only book through certain criterias without having to provide additional information. And so as long as your seat preference or meal preference falls within those policies and requirements, it'll go through and be processed with no issue. If there is a chance that, you know, it's an additional cost, it will ask you for an explanation, and at that time you could say, you know, this was the last seat available on the flight. I was charged for it because it was last seat, and then send it on its way and it can be approved. So there's also a section for hotel preferences, things that you like and may not. Car preferences, just know economy car is going to be the WSU policy. And then if you need like a larger vehicle for program materials, you could select a larger vehicle and then note in there, there's program materials that are going to be included. So this next section, are still within this travel preferences, we have the ability to add in frequent traveler programs as well as advantage programs. So I know a lot of you guys travel regularly. Some of you have preferred programs with hotels as well as maybe airlines or drivers, rental cars. So if you have something like that, what you can do is come over here and hit add a program. Here on the left-hand side, you have to select if it's, you know, for airfare or rail, rental car, or hotel. Let's say for this example, we're going to do hotel, and then you would select the hotel in which you have a frequent traveler or special guest number with. Just note some of the more frequently used hotels are actually at the top here in red. So for example, I went looking for the Hilton down in H. It wasn't in H because it is at the top. So just something to keep in mind when you're going through. We haven't had a place yet that we couldn't find, but if you do run across that, let me know and I can always reach out to our Concur team to see if it's something that we can have added. And so this is where you go in and you can add all of those things. Once you're done, you can save. Same thing with advantage programs. You can come down here. You can select if it's for, you know, Amtrak, or looks like Amtrak's the only one that's in there right now. But you can add up to 5 and then move forward with that. And if you have any questions on that, just let me know. But this system, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are they going to be revising this and continuing to add fields? I had a few people ask me why we weren't able to put in our AARP number and our AAA numbers.
So up above, they weren't able to just select that they were an AARP and then move forward.
You can check the box, but there's no place to put the number in to have that saved.
Okay, well that's good to know. I will find out about that to put the number in for AARP. Now, for the most part, they can, I believe that they can come in here and update. They're not going to be adding additional fields. So once you have your profile set up, you don't have to worry about they added something and now you need to come back in and add it. But I think that as we start using Concur and we start realizing, just like you stated, that the AARP doesn't allow for the number to be input, we'll contact them. And if they add that field, then yes, they would need to come back in here to input that number. So just something to keep in mind, but there's not going to be a ton of changes within this profile setup. Once it's set up, it's kind of a one-time thing. You set up this profile and you're good to go, but as you travel more and maybe decide to become a part of one of these frequent travelers programs, you could then come in and add it at any time. You can edit this information, so just something to keep in mind. And I will follow up with the AARP and Concur. So there's also a section here that says unused tickets. If you had any unused tickets, they would pop up in this area. One of the things that we have already asked Concur is we're going to find out about unused tickets that are still in the EasyBiz system and find out whether or not they're transferable. We're not 100% sure, but like I said, I'm looking into that. The next thing, Southwest ticket credits, you're normally provided with some digits and information that you have to input to get that credit to transfer onto the system. So you're provided with that information if you ever receive a credit from Southwest, and at that time, if you want to add that into the system, you just come here and add ticket credit. And then it pops up here and you can then apply it to any trips that you're going towards. The next thing is your TSA secure flight. Here, you do need to identify your gender and your date of birth in order to save. So we're going to go ahead and input that information. Here, you can put in DHS redress number if you have it. And then the next section is your KTN number, so your known traveler number. So if you have or are part of that program, you can go ahead and input that in right here. We'll go ahead and keep going. We're almost to the bottom. So some of you guys do travel internationally, and so you can input your passport or visa information into the system, which will help if you ever need to book an international trip using Concur. Let's say that you don't travel internationally, you don't have a passport, you can just go ahead and select that you do not have a passport, but I would suggest if you have one, that you input it so that you don't need to ever come back and do so if you do need to travel for international reasons. So the next section down is for assistance in travel arrangers. You can, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Some people do have other individuals book on their behalf, and you could add that assistant in here just by hitting add an assistant, and then you can then select if they can book for you, or they're your it looks like you can only actually select that they can book travel for you, and then you can go ahead and input their information and hit save. And so that allows an individual to book on your behalf. Just note that, you know, as we move to Workday, a lot of the new systems that we'll be seeing in July of 2020 have a lot of a need for the traveler to be responsible for a lot of bookings and such. So having the ability to know how the system works is really just great. So if you do have someone who's going to be booking on your behalf, just know that it's still going to be beneficial for you to know how to use this system. So I would advise that you still play in here a little bit and get to know the system, and then you can allow, you know, the other individual in your office or whoever it may be book your airfare as needed. So the last section on this page is going to be the credit cards. Each one of you should be able to see that the Youth and Family CTA card has already been input into your profile, which is great. It has been set as a preference for planes only. As you guys should be aware, our CTA can only be used for airfare, bus, and rail. And it looks like, I'm going to stop real quick, it looks like we do have a question in Zoom that says, what about the other way around? Can we use this to book tickets for our staff? Yes, you can use this to book tickets for your staff if they are in the Concur system. There is also an option to book for guests, but you have to be set up with that capability. So if that's something that you feel that you need, we can have a conversation about getting you that access. But as all your staff should be input in here if they are employees of Extension Youth and Family, and so you should be able, they should be able to assign you to book on behalf of them. So back to the credit card, the CTA is already input in there, and like I said, it is specific for your airfare, bus, or rail. You will want to, if you're going to be using this system to book hotel and rental car, you will need to add in your own card information, and you can do so by hitting add a credit card. You just fill out the information, and then you can select that this is for rental cars and hotel reservations. As I said, your CTA card is already set up to default for plane tickets, but when you're making a purchase, you are able to, it won't just automatically charge to the CTA card. You're able to drop it down, and let's say if you don't want to use a CTA card, you could then use your personal card. So it doesn't mean that it will charge there, it just will default there. And so once you've input all that information, you get to the cards, and you can go ahead and save. It will notify you at this time if you've missed any of the required fields. And so just go ahead and fill that out as needed. And then in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and hop over, and I'm going to show you guys how to make a booking. So as I kind of talked about earlier, and as you guys are aware, Concur is an online booking tool that is very similar to Orbitz or Expedia, but one of the benefits of this is that we're able to get our state contracted rates housed within one system. So when you book with Expedia or Orbitz or Kayak, any other online system, it doesn't have our state contracted rates built into it, where this system does. And in addition to that, Concur has the ability to negotiate on our behalf to help get better contracted rates. So let's say we start using the system more and more, and as we do that, we use a lot of Alaska Airlines, for example. Well, Concur will go to Alaska and say, okay, this unit of WSU is using your airline so much or for this amount of cost. What can you guys offer them to continue using or provide incentive to use your airline specifically? And so they will actually enter into those negotiations on our behalf, which is a really great thing. In addition to the contracted rates, all of this travel is booked at a $9 fee instead of a $30 fee, which we're used to seeing with Global. And it's really intuitive. Everything that you do has to be approved, which whether or not you may have known that, that has happened on the back end anyway. But once you book your airfare, or it will go to a designated individual within your unit who will be approving the airfare. In addition to just your normal bookings, there is going to be some information that you're required to provide. But that helps with reconciling on the business center's end, as well as takes some work off of your admins and having to gather that information at the end of your travel so that we can reconcile that expense. But we'll get into that a little bit more here. But first I'm going to go ahead and let's walk over into the travel portion. So up here on the left-hand side at the top, there's travel. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Here where you can see that you're booking for yourself. Some of you guys may be able to see this feature that says booking for a guest. If not, and you need that, kind of like Catalina, you said that you did, we'll go ahead and we can set that up for you as needed and as required. But for this, we're just going to go ahead and look at a round trip flight. We're going to go from Spokane. You can enter in either the airport or the city, train station, a lot of different information, but for what we're doing, I just put in GG for Spokane Airport, and then I want to go to Chicago. As you can see, my first option here is Chicago area airports. I'm going to go ahead and select that, but in many cases, when you guys are traveling, you need to be going to a specific area or a specific airport. So you can go ahead and select that as needed. But for mine, I'm going to go ahead and put in the area airports. I'm going to choose my departure date as well as my return. As you guys can see, you can change the times as well as, you know, how many hours plus or minus that would work for you. There's also a feature here where you can say you need a car. So you can select I need a car. You need to find a hotel too. Go ahead and select that if you do. There's a lot of different options for the hotel once that opens up. But for this, we're just going to look at airfare. You can sort by price or schedule. You can also specify a carrier or select for refundable fares only. But like I said, for this, we're just going to do it all. I'm going to go ahead and hit search. And it's getting my rates ready. On this left-hand side, though, as you guys can see, I have a quick little trip summary, but I can also I can change my search right here. So I don't have to go back if I input something incorrectly or need more information or want to change some of that criteria. You can do that right here. You can also change, you know, when you depart, when you return, the price range you want to look at. You can start hiding things, like let's say there's just so many rates in here, it's kind of overwhelming. Well, you can hide ones, propeller planes, refundable tickets, departure and return at the same airport only, and all of this different stuff here. You can even filter for connecting airports. So that's a really cool feature I've never seen before. But for what we're doing here, I'm going to go ahead and just select, the most economical means. Sometimes you guys need to see, how long are layovers, where am I going, maybe I have multiple business purposes while I'm in travel. You don't actually have to click on this rate to get into the finer details. If you see right below it, there is a show all details selection, and if you click on that, that's going to really break down everything for you. Your entire itinerary, you can view the seats, you can see that this one shows that it's the Airbus and the number there, and just a lot of information. It tells you if there's free checked bags, the fare details, as well as whether or not the airfare that you're booking is refundable. So we're going to go ahead and click on this one. We're going to say it works for my trip, and then it will process and bring us to the next page. So one of the new things that is going to be required when you are booking airfare, and unfortunately I don't have my card input, as you can see there are no cards defined, is that you're going to be required to know your travel authority number, the budget and project that you want to charge your airfare to, as well as the purpose of your trip. So a lot of questions is, where do I get my TA from? So there's a few options. Your travel authority number can be found on the TB that has been provided to you by the Business Center. Or you can always send us an email at our group email, which is travel.bc@wsu.edu, and we'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. And that TA number will be needed in order to book, but it also is not generated until your travel authority has been completely approved. But per WSU policy, you cannot book airfare until after that approval has taken place. So if you don't have a TA number, it probably means you shouldn't be booking your airline at this time. Also know that your admin individuals who are designated to approve your airfare will be looking at the information you provide in the sense of the account number and the purpose. If any of this is incorrect, your flight is going to be subject to be denied. If it is a timely manner, they're short on seats, other things, we can push the approval through. You'll need to contact your admin for that. But they have been given routes as to getting us the correct information as needed. But just know that it is pretty critical that that information that you provide up front is correct in making sure that you're booked in a timely manner. So real quick, we have selected our flight. This gives us, you're able to review the flights again. It shows who our primary traveler is, the number and email. You can add in any of those frequent traveler programs that you have. They should just be already here and drop down if you had any for Delta. You can go in and select a seat, and here it shows you your total cost due. This is where it should be defaulted to youth and family, but you can select, the card if you're not going to be doing that. And then you're going to go forward to reserve the flight and continue. At that last stage is where you're going to be asked to provide the TA, the budget, project, and purpose. And then your flight is sent to your designated individual to approve. Some people said, how do I know if it gets approved? We have 24 hours on most flights to approve them, or they will actually get denied just because rates change day to day. So going back to just our main screen real quick. On the company notes right here, it says, booking airfare for WSU Connors may only be completed Monday through Thursday and Friday until 4 p.m. The reason for that is that we do not have the expectation for your designated approvers to be here on Saturday and Sunday to approve airfare. So you guys need to be aware that you will have to book during these hours or your airfare will be denied. And then you are going to be subject to rebooking, and there's a chance that you could hopefully you wouldn't lose any of your flights, but you would be denied and then would be required to rebook the following week. I did speak with Linda, and it looks like SNAP Ed individuals will need to book Monday through Thursday only because their designated approver is not here on Friday. But we will add additional messaging here on this front page for that information. A few other things that you guys can do is hotel, rental car, as well as a train search. All of your upcoming trips are right here on this main page. You can look at that at any time and kind of keep track of what's upcoming and what is, not in the system already. You can also see what's been approved at that time. I'm sure that you would be notified by the admin, but you would also be notified in email if we had denied any of your airfare, we being your designated approver. But at that time, you could always reach out to them or to the travel office, and we could help, figure out what had happened there. But I don't see, as long as you have an approved TA in place and you're booking within policy, there should be no reason that your flight is denied. So that's just kind of the brief overview. The main purpose of this training was just making sure each and every one of you guys know how to set up your profile. You only have to do it once, and now it's in there. You guys can move forward with booking within the system. We have noticed some intense rate comparisons in the system. We've been piloting Concur with another extension unit for probably the last 6 months, and we've noticed the contracted rates in this system in comparison to just booking directly with the airline. It is encouraged to use Concur, but you may still book using Global or purchasing the airfare on your own card and then seeking reimbursement upon return. WSU corporate travel cards can be input into the system as they are allowable for WSU business, and you may book using that. And really, it's just a fun and cool system that is really making a lot of people's lives a lot easier and kind of consolidating some of the work that we do on the back end here. I really do suggest there's so many features in this system that you play around with it and get to know it as you start going through and booking your travel. And before I let you guys go, though, I would like to, open this up and try and facilitate any questions you guys may have. We work openly with the Concur team and outreach to them often for questions in the system. I'm continuing to learn new tips and tricks all the time. And so, as I learn things, I will make sure to outsource those to your guys' unit. But the more questions you ask, the better I can be equipped to, continue onboarding the system in the future. So at this time, are there any questions? It's such a quiet group compared to yesterday. So it sounds like it's pretty quiet. So I will go ahead and I'm going to stay logged on here just for a little bit longer while each of you, if there are any questions that come up or if you continue to play within Concur. Just know if you ever are having any issues or have questions, you can reach out to our office at any time, and we're happy to help in the best way possible. We also have great working relations with Concur. So at this time, if you don't have any questions, you can feel free to log off. But like I said, I will be here for a little bit longer to help facilitate any other things that you guys may have to ask.
Hi, Kelsey. This is Catalina. And once we're done, I would like to stick around and hear about the guest option.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So it seems that we don't have a lot of questions. Like I said, you guys can feel free to log off at any time. We've completed the main portion of this meeting. Catalina, I'd be happy to address this with you now. Just out of curiosity, do you have booking for a guest as an option on your main screen here?
No.
You do not. Perfect. So, are you guys logged into Concur stuff? Okay.
So I did want to point out something different. If you're booking for an employee, you will not be using book for a guest. I I went in and I was playing with it. You actually go on the main screen instead of the travel, you go to the next one over that says arrangers. And that is where, and then you go over on the right-hand side and say, I'm assisting. And that's where your names individuals are that you will be doing your travel for.
Do you have that arranger view, Catalina?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. And I think that that's another thing that we have to set up, but that's wonderful information, Linda. What we'll do is I'll definitely make sure to let people know that. I guess you would use that booking for a guest if you're booking for someone outside the university, but it sounded like in your situation, you're booking for your own employees, correct?
I may need both. This is not something that I would be doing. I would be doing maybe once a year. But every now and then we need to fly in somebody for one of our grants.
Right.
And every now and then we have a statewide training where we need some, not all of our staff to fly. And the reason I think it wouldn't be a good fit for them to do their own is just one, is going to be very, very seldom. So it's one of those things they'll do maybe once every 2 years, once a year if it's a lot. And two, some of our staff are not super computer savvy. So it'll be nice if we have that big statewide training, if we just do a big purchase party and get tickets for everybody for that one time a year.
So what I did notice before I was able to go in and do the assisting someone is they have to go in and set up their profile.
Yes.
So, even though we're not having them do their own travel, they will have to set up a profile and give you the ability to assist them.
Okay. So I can log in with them with that temp password, have them add me as their assistant.
Yes. Yep. And that's that feature we went through in the training where you can add an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went in and I believe, can you go ahead and try and log out and log back in, and let's see if you have that access.
Let me see.
And Linda, did you hear back from Pam as to whether or not she had to, she didn't need to create one for the candidates, did she?
No, I did not.
Okay, oh, you're there, perfect, wonderful.
I haven't been able to complete it yet because I'm still waiting for information.
Oh, hi, Kim.
Well, it's actually Pam.
Oh, that's Pam. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, now I have book for guest. This is exciting.
Okay, and do you have that arrangers right up by travel? There should be the arranger section.
Ooh. Okay, hold on. Where is this section again?
Arrangers and trip library and templates at the very top.
Arrangers, yes. Now I'm an arranger.
Wonderful. Okay, so that's how you do it. Once they have you, so when you have that arrangers, just like Linda was saying, under the I'm assisting, there's upcoming travel, company notes, and I'm assisting. Under the I'm assisting, once they've selected you or input you into their profile as an individual that can assist on behalf of them, they will be noted here and you can just select them. What's great about that and the reason for that is then you have access to their name, their passport, everything that you need to book that travel without having to reach out to them individually.
Yeah, that's great. So what we need to do is sit down with all of our educators, walk them through the process to add me or their direct supervisor as an assistant. Then they'll be on our system. And then, 1 year from now, that one time a year where we're buying tickets for everybody, we can just do a big purchase.
Yes.
Awesome. Another question I have, not that I think about it. So like if, for example, if we're purchasing tickets for 4 educators, can they all be under the same reservation? Like if we're doing travel for a training or something?
I guess I'm confused by what you mean by reservation.
So one of the things I've learned is, when everybody makes their own reservation, let's say Alaska doesn't think you guys are together. And if there's delays or flight cancellations, they don't know that you guys want to be on the same flight.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So when we've had, especially travel for training, you know, we try to share Ubers, we try to share airport parking, you know, all, just to reduce cost. So we like all being on the same reservation, which tells the airline we're together. So then if there's cancellations or they want to move us around, they know that we come all together.
Okay. So I'll ask
I do
about
that.
that.
I'll tag on to Doreen's because she's gold. And so when we're traveling together, I always like to be on her
You
reservation.
get her upgrades. I know. I got a couple of passes when I would travel with Karen.
That's great. You know, we haven't, no one's asked me this question before. So let me reach out to Concur on that one too. For group reservations and putting you guys all together to make sure that, you know, just in those exact situations you're talking about, that you guys can stay as a group.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we've had this, you know, again, it was like, it's very seldom, but we do this. We had a training in Colorado, and we had 2 educators that were flying from Vancouver, you know, Portland Airport. Their flight got canceled and they got moved around, and we were lucky because they were under the same reservation, so the airline always knew that they belonged together. While if you're all apart, which has happened to us, you know, the airline are like, you're going in the 10 o'clock and you're going in the 8 o'clock and you're going through Denver and you're going through Memphis. And
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. I have never heard about this. This is
scars from the battlefield.
It's very helpful, especially when we have, like, when we're booking the travel for the kids and the chaperones and they're doing national travel, they all have to be together.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Mother Goose likes them all.
You don't want to lose a child. Oh man. Okay, yeah. I will definitely take that one back to Concur. I also have here in some notes that we're gonna figure out how to input AARP numbers, and then we're gonna add a Snap Ed bookings from only Monday through Thursday on that main web page. Is there anything else you guys can think of that I could take back?
I'm sure as we start using it, we'll start bugging you with questions.
Well, good. I encourage it. I really, you know, ask if I don't know the answer, I'll find it. But like I said, we've been piloting this system for a little while now that I do know some things. So hopefully I can be resourceful for you.
Once we're done with the wonderful world of Concur, since I have you on Zoom, can I bug you with some random TA TV questions?
Yes, I am absolutely fine with that. Linda, are we good? Is there anything else that you need from me at this time?
Nope, I think we're good. I'm going to hit the stop recording and you guys can carry on.
All right.